Hi now, Tim K coming back to you. How's everyone doing out there in YouTube land on this glorious Father's Day? It's been a while since I've done a video. I finally took the crowbar out of my wallet and bought myself one of those little $15 light ring stand rig things, whatever you want to call it. So kind of moved my YouTube whereabouts. I was having some major issues with my laptop. I don't know. I tried to record this video 3 times, and it was just never capturing. I don't know what I was doing wrong. So I'm glad I bought the light ring. Like I said, a great $15 investment. Kind of moved my little, I will not call it a studio, but where I'm shooting my videos into my little card room corner here, where I've got some of my beloved card treasures. So anyway, yeah, today I wanted to do a card series or a card episode on some Grateful Dead cards. I thought I'd been wanting to do this for a while. Again, technical difficulties, but it's concert season, and nothing combines my two favorite hobbies better than cards and live concerts. So I figured I'd show you guys some of the Dead cards that I've collected over the years, and they're kind of far and few. So please, down in the comments, if you guys know of anything that I don't have and missing, I'm always on the hunt. It's just there's not very many of them out there, or if you do find them, there's not very much information about said specific sets. So yeah, let's get this started with showing cards. So the very first card that I ever got, there's Mr. Phil Lesh there. Phil always played with these awesome wristbands on, and he was the bass player of the Grateful Dead. I got this card in 1995 out in Haight-Ashbury, the first time I had made it out there. It was just on the counter of the counter is this little hippie chick's head shop, and oh hey, can I have one of those? She said, yeah, no problem. That's what they're there for. I have looked and looked and looked and have never been able to find another one. It says on the back something about limited series of 118 cards, something like that. I've never seen another one in my life. So I just kind of stashed this guy away, kept it for years. And as the years went on and I started gathering more and more Grateful Dead cards, it found my way into my blue non-sports binder. So thank you, Phil. And thank you, hippie chick out in Haight-Ashbury that gave me my first Dead card. So the next was kind of like their most mainstream series, let's say. It was the 1991 Brockham Rock Card set. And this set included, bands anywhere from, I know there was Anthrax and like Megadeth. And then, you had your AC/DC, then you had your hair bands like Poison, Bon Jovi. It was all over the place. It was a 288 card set. It had 18 stickers in it, which are actually really cool. I'm trying to source that out. A lot of the stickers were for some reason I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Iron Maiden. A lot of the stickers were Iron Maiden stickers, and they have Eddie. I just love that little skeleton, creepy Eddie dude. And then I believe Megadeth's little guy name was Vic. About half the set is just really cool artwork. And these are the 18 stickers that came with the cards. So like I said, it was a 288 card set that came out in different series. Now I'm going to showcase the Grateful Dead cards where I didn't know that these were insert cards in this 99 Brockham Rock Card series, Series 1. So the Grateful Dead cards, what they call it? They called it the Grateful Dead Legacy set. And it only consisted of 10 cards, and they're actually insert cards, which I had no idea because I never pack pulled these. I have, over the years, just compiled them, buying a couple here, buying a couple there. So any of you guys out there, if you're into these things, I have a lot of doubles of the Rock Legacy, the Grateful Dead cards, cards 1 through 10 that, to my new research, I guess they're insert cards. So instead of me babbling on more and more, let me just start showing you the cards. So there's card number 1. Of course, Captain Trips, Mr. Garcia, gets card number 1. He's playing my beloved guitar Rosebud. Jerry named all his guitars. Well, not all of them, but most of them. This is the one that he played in the years I saw, 90 through 95. So I love Rosebud. And on the back, there's an old school picture of Jerry. That's actually right around the time he picked up the nickname nomenclature, Captain Trips. So I don't know if this would be considered a Jerry rookie card. I don't think it is. Trading Card Database didn't say anything about that. It's just their regular series cards. So number 2 in the set, of course, the kid, Bobby Weir. He was rhythm guitarist all these years. Yeah, unfortunately, we just lost Bobby not too long ago. He was great. One of the greatest rhythm guitarists to ever do it. I loved Bobby. He didn't get enough credit. His rhythm guitar was just amazing. And then third, we got Phil again, the bass player. And there he is with his sweet wristband on again. What they used to call Phil's bass. Phil's bass had different names too. I don't know the name of this one. He had so many different guitars, but when Phil would light it up, they called them bass bombs. Man, it would shake hockey arenas. It was awesome. I remember seeing a show 92 at Freedom Hall. No, Rupp Arena in Louisville, Kentucky, and he was hitting the bass chord so hard, like the spackling started falling down from the ceilings. It was pretty amazing. So yeah, there's the old school picture of Phil in all his glory. I don't know. I think these pictures on the back of the cards, they're pretty old. I'd probably from like pictures from 67, 68, somewhere in there. The original drummer for the band, Mr. Billy Kreutzmann. He's he was one of the originals. And Billy was just always a blast to see live in concert. Their drum setups were so unreal. I got snuck in backstage to a show one time, and after the show I got up on stage, and that was the first thing I went to go check out was their drum sets, just because they were insane. So here's another card of their other drum. This was something that made the Grateful Dead a little special. They had 2 drummers, not at all times. This is Mickey Hart. Mickey Hart came on in 67 with the band. He sat in for a show, and then they were like, hey, that worked out really well. Invited him back. And he wasn't a founding original member. The band was founded in 65, but he did a little stint with them until 71. And then ironically, there's Mickey. That's not an old picture of him, but Mickey's dad was their band manager for a while there in the late 60s, early 70s. And the band figured out that old Lenny Hart was ripping them off. And that made things really uncomfortable between the band and Mickey. So Mickey stepped out for a little while. He took a little hiatus. But later on, back in 74, he rejoined the band, and everything was all good, from there on out. So that's cool. I'm glad that they're able to forgive old sneaky Lenny and, invite Mickey back to the band. Now this guy, he was the only keyboardist I ever saw, Vince Welnick. He was out of the Bay Area. I believe his claim to fame before the Grateful Dead, he played in this band called the Tubes, just a rock and roll band around the area. The Grateful Dead didn't have too much luck with keyboardists. Over the years, their original keyboardist, Pigpen, He died in shoot, when did Pig die? Um, he got real sick. He ended up dying of, I believe, it was cirrhosis of the liver. Bad alcoholic. The rest of the guys are into the harder stuff, but Pig, all the psychedelic drugs. But Pig, he liked his booze, man. He liked to drink. He was a whiskey guy. There's some great stories about him and Janis Joplin getting down with some bottles of whiskey and Southern Comfort. They actually dated for a while back in the year, but yeah, Pig died, and I believe it was 72. 72 early. No, I think it was actually early 73. He didn't play many shows with him 73. Then another my favorite keyboardist. His name was Keith Godshall. He played a beautiful baby grand piano. I don't have any cards of Keith. He was keyboardist between when Pig left and no, Pig did leave in 71. Pig would come in, sit in some and here and there, sorry. But Keith came on in 71, brought his wife along, Donna Jean Godshall. She was the only female vocalist that was ever in the band. He was my favorite keyboardist. Then along with his keyboardist thing, Keith, how did Keith die? I believe he died in an automobile accident in 79. Then they brought on their next keyboardist named Brent Midland, who had kind of a different sound. Every time the Grateful Dead changed keyboardists, their sound kind of changed. Keith had more of a synthesizer sound. It was coming into the 80s. Great stuff. Not my favorite keyboardist. Keith was a great musician. He sang a lot of songs with him. But I'm sorry, Brent was a great musician, sang a lot of songs with him, more than any other keyboardist since Pigpen as a singer. That was another great thing about the Grateful Dead. They all sang. It wasn't just Jerry singing. It wasn't Bobby singing. Phil used to sing back in the days. So, their keyboardist used to sing. The only keyboardist that really didn't sing a lot was Keith Godshall. He had a great voice, but he was just really shy. He just loved slamming on that baby grand piano. And it was a beautiful sound, man. So enough about the keyboardists. Sorry, Vince kind of got me going. They just had a bad run, bad luck with keyboardists. Brent Midland ended up dying in 1990. That was an overdose. He got into the drugs pretty hard. For a while, when they were looking for their replacement, they brought Bruce Hornsby on. And I did not get to see any Hornsby shows. Would have loved to. And then after that, he was just so busy with his own band, The Range. He elected not to come into the Grateful Dead full time. He said their touring schedule was too crazy. So that's when they found Vince Welnig. And poor old Vince, he never got the credit he deserved or needed. He was just kind of overlooked over all those years. And can't believe I've been talking about Vince Welnig for 2 minutes now. So there you go, Vince. There's your just dues. This card, I think we're at card number 7 now, something like that. Just a cool card. The boys playing live, Madison Square Garden. That was one of their mainstays. They played Madison Square Garden so much. They had the record for a while playing 13 night run, meaning they played 13 shows back-to-back consecutive. I believe that was a record until Phish beat that a couple years ago. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, Phish. I'm a deadhead. So here's a iconic image of them back in 1907. This is them at their house. They rented a historic, old, dilapidated mansion in the Haight-Ashbury district. And this was actually, the address was 710 Haight Street. So they all lived there for a brief moment during the Summer of Love. And then there's a huge drug bust, widely, not criticized, but it was all over the news. And after that went down at 710 Haight-Ashbury, they said, okay, it's time to get out of here. Things are getting too crazy here. So they kind of they were getting more and more popular, starting to write, get studio deals and studio albums. So they were getting more money. So they all were able to buy their own houses and live out across. Most of them lived up in North County, which is across the Golden Gate Bridge, Stinson Beach, Novato. They all bought houses outside of the town after that historic drug bust at 710 Ashbury Street during the Summer of Love. This is card number 9. This is kind of generic, not one of their coolest designs by any means, but this was the album cover art for Europe 1990. They had an epic Europe 72 tour. First time they went to Europe and toured all over. It's some of the best classic Grateful Dead ever. If you're not familiar with the Grateful Dead and you want to familiarize yourself with them, listen to some Europe 72 stuff. It's sick. It's unreal. And then this is the last card number 10 of the limited series insert set. Very generic photo. They just I've always known this image as Top Hat. Kind of was never album of or anything to do with an album. I believe Stanley Mouse was part of this. Stanley Mouse was one of the iconic artists that made a lot of their posters back in the day and a lot of the iconic images that everyone associates with the Dead. So I believe that was a Stanley Mouse image. Anyway, guys, yeah, for my Deadhead buddies that are out there, if you ever find this and you want any of these cards, want to trade or whatever, hook me up, get in contact with me. We'll figure out, how to get them to, because I've got some doubles, like I said, with that Brockham set, I kind of pieced together. So I've got some doubles here and there. So moving on, there's some offshoot stuff that I've never seen, can't get my hands on, that I was able to look up on Trading Card Database. Would love to get it. It's just so obscure. It's hard to find. So ironically, the next mainstream thing that's out there is Garbage Pail Kids. I forget which one this was. This is Grateful Ted. Okay, so this is card A, 8A, and then there's 8B. Grateful Ted, I think they kind of missed it there. It's a play on words, but if I would have been the set designer, I would have named it Grateful Jed. One of their famous songs was called Tennessee Jed, but they're trying to play on words as Garbage Pail Kids did. So this was from 2017. Dancing Bear, iconic. Never really liked the Dancing Bear image. I always thought it was kind of girly. All the chick heads always loved the Dancing Bears, so good for them. I forget what this guy's called. Bear Attack Bob. So yeah, I don't know. Sticking with the bear theme. Maybe it's after Bobby Weir. This card was 8B in that Garbage Pail Kids set. So this next thing was really cool. I was so looking forward to this set when it came out. Tons of anticipation. I read somewhere, I don't know where I saw it, but just this past January, Upper Deck came out with a series, a new set of Grateful Dead cards. I was so excited to get my hands on this. So let me show you the box first. Really cool collector's box that it came in. That's none of their really iconic images or anything. None of the Stanley Mouse stuff that I mentioned before, but just a really cool collector's box. So this box, it was $60, came out just this past January. I actually got it on my birthday, and it was $60. The full set is 60 cards, and then you got 5 bonus cards in the pack. So you did get the complete set, and then 5 bonus cards. You got two. You got two. They just called them insert variations, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you got 1 numbered card, and then you got a Dave's Pick card, and I'll explain all that here in a minute. So I was looking very forward to this set, and here's card number 1 of this set. It's pretty glossy, but just for like an Upper Deck card, I wasn't blown away. I was like, oh, these things are going to be epic, man. The only, Uncle Sam, he was kind of an iconic figure, but this really got me, man. This was like, come on, you can do better than this. And I hate to bitch and moan. I was just so excited about this set. You can barely read the back of this, and, The write-ups they had on the back, they're pretty vague, pretty generic. Honestly, I think Upper Deck really dropped the ball on this set. Just me being the head I am and the historian I am about the band, they could have done it much better. Some of the images they used, and I get it, it's all licensing and stuff like that. But I was looking really forward to, like, I don't know, seeing Jerry, Madison Square Garden, fan blowing his hair back, like close-ups of them, or, some of their iconic posters from the 60s and 70s, have those on cards. Just they used very generic images, and now I'm realizing it's probably because of licensing and stuff. But hey, Upper Deck, you dropped the ball. You should have called me. We would have knocked this set out. But it would have cost you a lot more money for all the licenses because I would have given you cool images. But, ironically enough, this is one of the parallels that I got, which is a cool image. I have this poster, so I'm glad I got this parallel. I actually got really lucky on the parallels that I pulled in my five card parallel out of the pack. I've always loved this image. It's their 21st anniversary. It's 25 years so far. It's skeleton guy. He's got his guitar up there. So yeah, that was one of the variations I pulled. So I was happy with that. It was cool, but I was like, oh, maybe the variations you can read the back. Nope, still super dark. Just again, Upper Deck, I think he dropped the ball on this. But, it wasn't a very expensive set. So I'm bitching and moaning. It was only $60. I was just a little disappointed. Now, here's how I thought all the cards were going to look, or could have looked. This is obviously a numbered variation. Why I say obviously, you guys don't know that. I believe this green was out of, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I don't really give a shit about numbered cards. I think greens are out of 200. And then they had blues out of 149. So this was 199. Then there was blues out of 149. I think purples were out of 50. Oranges were out of 25. Bad choice. Pinks out of 10. Bad choice. The blues and greens, in my opinion, are the coolest ones. So this was the other variation that I pulled that came in my pack bundle. Again, super lucky. This is one of the best images from the set. This is their 20 years so far poster image that I've got hanging out in the garage. So ironically, I'm bitching, but luckily enough, I pulled two of the coolest cards for the variation cards, or parallels, let's say. So I got really lucky there. But take a look at that back. So you see that? Upper Deck, why couldn't have you done that with every card? You can actually read this. It's colorful. Yeah, again, sorry. When I heard Upper Deck was releasing this set, I was so excited because I was like, this thing's going to be awesome. And don't get me wrong, it is cool. It's just, I was a little disappointed about a lot of the images they used, or therefore lack of the ones they didn't use. Again, I'm sure it was a licensing thing. A lot of these images were pretty generic. And then one of the last variation cards you could pull, this is called a Dave's Picks card. For years, Dave Lemieux, he is the they call it the Vault. He's the Vault archivist. The Vault is basically everything the Grateful Dead ever did on stage. The studio stage. They had the hindsight, even back in when they were getting their beginnings in 65, 66, to record everything. That way they could listen to it, get better. Hey, let's do this, they do that. They kept these reel-to-reel tapes all these years, and they call it the Vault. For years, a man named Dick Lavatia was in charge of this. He ended up dying. Shoot, I forget when Dick died. Anyway, David Lemieux was his understudy. So it used to be called Dick's Picks, where all these live show recordings that they put out on CDs that just, they sound beautiful. I mean, you can hear a show from 67 and it's just crisp as hell. It's beautiful. And they just carry it on that tradition. So this David Lemieux took over the Vault for Dick, and instead of calling him Dick's Picks, now they call him Dave's Picks. So some of these cards are just the album cover art of the newer CDs, and now it's MP3s and downloads that they put out. Just brilliant stuff. I mean, as Deadheads, we are so lucky to have this Vault because we can go back and Oh, I want to listen to a Fillmore West show from San Francisco from 1967. It's so beautifully digitally remastered now. It sounds like you're at the show. It's incredible. So thank you, Grateful Dead, for having that hindsight to tape virtually almost every show you ever did. Now, over the years, some got lost, damaged, um, not stolen out of the vault, but I forget they played over. Dude, I should have this ingrained in my memory. They played over 3,000 live shows. I'd say, there's probably at least 2,700 out them. 2,700 shows out there available that you can find on CD format. There's this great what are those things called? Apps. It's called Relisten. It basically has the whole vault on there, or at least what the vault has. So again, if you guys are interested in any of this music, look up Relisten. If you're into jam bands, there's tons of stuff out there. All these different jam bands. Fish, all the Fish's stuff is on there. Disco Biscuits. Oh, who's big now? Billy Strings. If you're into Billy Strings, they put a lot of his, this is all live stuff. It's a live show streaming thing, and it's totally free. It's epic. It's great. It's free to, let's say, the jam band community. So, yeah, guys, it's been a long time coming since I wanted to put this out there a while ago. I went to a music festival over Memorial Day, and then I just ran into trouble with my computer and this and that. And I was like, okay, I'm going the Lightning route. Anyway, sorry, it's been a while. And, this isn't a very huge, popularity topic for cards, but I love the cards. They're unique to me. Any of you guys out there, Alan, especially you, I know we spoke at Strongsville. If I'm missing other sets, brother, let me know. Let's try and get in contact and help each other out to track these things down. And yeah, for those of you guys that may want some of these Brockham cards, I've got some doubles. So reach out and we'll figure something out. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And again, for me just rambling on about one of the best damn bands in the land ever. That was one of their monikers. So yeah, I'm just ahead through and through, always will be. So it's the, the combination of both of my passions, my loves, sports cards and live music, especially being the Grateful Dead. It's just, I had to do a video on it. So probably not going to get a whole lot of views, but I'm not about that. I'm just about showing some cool stuff that, I've got that maybe no one's ever seen. And yeah, so we will see you guys down the road. Peace.